I did a lot of reflection beforehand, and I'm still doing a lot of reflection as we're going through our homeschool years on this very important question, and that is, what do I want in my homeschool? Because the whole purpose of curriculum is to act as a vehicle for you to achieve what you want in your homeschool. So I'm asking myself questions like, what do I want my children to achieve academically or relationally, or even educationally outside of academics, like with life skills and spiritual understanding and knowledge? What do I want our day to be like? What do I want the atmosphere to feel like? You can just kind of go through your senses. What do I believe about how children learn? And perhaps one of the most important questions when asking what do I want in a homeschool is, what is our family culture like? What are the things that we do as a family? What are the things that we value as a family? What traditions do we have? Or what type of family culture do I want to cultivate and use homeschool as a means of cultivating that family culture? So for example, in our family, we are a family that values perseverance. We are a family that values generosity and helping other people. We're a family that likes to write letters. We're a family that likes to play board games and card games together. We're a family that while we're playing board games and card games together, we're also going to be working together, whether it's weeding the garden or doing some other type of home or homestead project. We're there together. We're a team. We're a family that are kind of book nerds. We like our books. We think of vacation as going to a thrift bookstore. We're a family that's going to talk about Yahweh all day long. We're going to be living out his commandments in our everyday life. These are the things that make up our family culture. And every family has a family culture, whether you have intentionally cultivated one or not. What is our family culture like, and how does that affect our homeschool, or how can our homeschool affect our family culture? So for example, we don't do a Bible curriculum because to me, Bible is not a homeschool subject. It's just part of our family culture. It's just part of what we do. We're reading the scriptures, we're memorizing the scriptures daily, we're talking about him daily, we're singing songs daily. We just love Yahweh and his ways, and that comes out naturally in our everyday life all throughout the day. And so that's part of our family culture. I don't need to have separate Bible curriculum for Bible. Exodus chapter 34, verse
27.
Yahweh
said to Moses, write these words, for in accordance with these words, I have made a covenant with you and Aaron.
Another question you can ask when reflecting on what do I want in my homeschool, what do I want it to be like, is what do I want it to look like visually? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And it's not that we have to have homeschool rooms or that we have to do our homeschool in a certain aesthetic, but the visual difference of a variety of learning environments can inspire us, or we can connect with one, and that can give us direction on what we're actually looking for in homeschool. So it's questions like these, all of these questions that brought me closer to knowing myself, which then led me to the style of homeschool that I more closely align with, led me to the curriculum choices, led me to the different methods and structures that I use and schedules that I use in my homeschool. So when I was choosing curriculum for our homeschool, I had a really strong idea of what I wanted in our homeschool. And I knew that I wanted something minimal. I didn't want to be spending 8 to 3 every day doing schoolwork. I knew that I wanted to not be workbook oriented. I wanted quality literature. I wanted it to be academically rigorous. I knew that I wanted an emphasis on oral lessons and lessons that we could do together as a family that are perhaps naturally differentiated according to the levels. I knew that I wanted a physical curriculum, nothing that was online or that required the screen. I would say that our family is a classical homeschooling family, but not in the sense of modern classical education and classical conversations and that kind of thing. Charlotte Mason was actually a classical educator. That was one way of doing classical education. And so I do enjoy incorporating a lot of her ideas into our homeschool. I use resources from Charlotte Mason educators in our homeschool. So classical Charlotte Mason homeschooling, I'd say, is our style. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we call ourselves. It's about what we actually do and what we actually believe. So overall, I chose curricula that aligned with our philosophy on education, that aligned with our family culture, that I thought could be flexible so that I could be consistent with it through the different children and the different seasons of life. And it's worked out really well for us. If you are a new homeschooling mom, or if you plan to homeschool in the future, I would definitely advise you to really take time to envision and think about what you want your homeschool to be like, what you want in your homeschool and go through all those questions that I talked about. And then when you're choosing your curriculum, know that it can take a little bit of time to get used to that curriculum and to know how to teach it. And it might feel a little unnatural at first, but unless it's just going horribly wrong and is obviously not a good fit for your family, I would encourage you to stick with it. And in that year's time, write down reflections of what is working and what's not working in a logbook or a notebook of some kind, so that even if at the end of the year you decide you don't want to stick with this curriculum, you now have a better idea of what you are looking for, as opposed to, I just don't like this curriculum, I don't want this curriculum. You're going to know yourself better, your children better, your structure and homeschooling routines better. You'll just have a lot more direction when choosing the next curriculum.